All right, I know you all have been waiting for my Seattle Parks tier list video forever, and we're finally gonna do it. So, without further ado, let's just hop into it. Let's see what the best parks in Seattle are. I lived in Seattle for 2 years, and I've lived in the greater area for longer, 15 or so now. So I think I have a bit of a grasp, and I made it a big point to see as many parks as I can when I was going to UW. So let's just kind of start from the top left and go around. Some I do have more familiarity with than the others, but I tried to pick parks that I've been to, and then we can go from there. So let's just start from top left to wherever else. Well, we can hop around. Green Lake Park. It's really hard to say anything bad about Green Lake. I think I'll put it into A tier for now, and we're probably gonna have to extend out here because we don't have a lot of space. But it's really a great park. Great for just going on walks with people. Fun to see at different seasons. Great for photos. Only kind of bad parts is that there's it's a very high density, and kind of depending on where you are, it's like the most convenient to get to, and parking can suck sometimes. But other than that, it's pretty good, and there are places to eat around there if that's your thing. But I'll try and focus on the parks themselves. Let's see, Lake Union Park. I'm not crazy about this one. I don't do a lot of stuff in Lake Union. I'd maybe give it a C for now. It's it's an interesting park, and if you're into the history stuff over there and you like going to the Mohai Museum, if that's the one, then that's definitely a place worth checking out. But I think the stuff around there is more interesting, and the park itself is kind of meh. A lot of geese poop there. Commodore Park. This is a really cool park. I think it can go into B for now. It's very cool looking, and you can maybe do like a picnic on the hill there. And if you just wanted to watch the boats go by, that's a great place for that. But it's hard to kind of sell it further than that. Like it's kind of out of the way. It's not super convenient. I think it is a park worth checking out, but it's not like the most exciting, like, oh, you got to go there all the time. I think it's worth going to once, but past that, I don't think it's anything super special. Peace Park. I almost kind of want to give this one a D. Let's see, can I move this up a layer? Move. Because it's cute. It's basically just a sculpture, and there's not much else there. I always kind of pass it on my runs. So it's not really much of a park. So it's hard to say if it's really that great. It's interesting, but nothing super special. Madison Park. Some of these I'm definitely gonna have to look up to jog my memory. Let's come back to Madison Park when I remember what it is. Volunteer Park, I might give a B as well. I think it's a little bit overrated, and there's really not a lot to do there unless you want to go see the botanical gardens and stuff. And I mean, the Asian Art Museum I think has finally opened, so that'd be cool to do too. But I think it's always a park that I've had hyped up in my mind, but every time I go, it's really not as interesting as I want it to be. And there's a cool tower you can go up to, and like the water reservoir is interesting, and there's nice views, and it's kind of by the interesting cemetery, but I don't think it kind of jumps the shark of like what a park needs to be. So that it's gonna kind of sit in the middle for now. I think Olympic Sculpture Park has no choice but to get an A at the very least. You get a lot of cool art to see there. I mean, it's on the waterfront, awesome views. Getting there can be kind of a pain if you are a person in a car. But if you're just taking the bus over, it's really not that bad. And you don't have to worry about parking. But overall, it's pretty cool, but you've probably heard of it before, so it doesn't really get any cool underground status or anything, but it's still a nice park. I think Discovery Park will have to be my first S tier. This park is just so huge. I think the one drawback is that you kind of do need a car there. You don't have a lot of like super easy ways to access it if you like don't live by the park itself. So it's kind of far away, but it's still really interesting. A lot of good memories there, a lot of great photos, as you can look at all these photos that I took. And it's hardly ever really crowded because it's just so giant. So definitely check out Discovery Park if you have not already. Really, really interesting, and anyone you bring there will be awed, and you can almost go on like small hikes-ish. So super cool park, and lots to see, a ton of variety there, both beach and tree stuff. So really interesting park. Let's see, Cohen Park, I can give, it's like between a B and a C right now. I'll give it a C. I think if you have younger kids, this would probably be a much better place for you. It's just the park that's left of Ravenna Park. So you'll kind of probably end up going to one if you're in the other. So it's interesting. It has some play stuff on there, and I think like a baseball field too. I had some fun memories there. It's kind of it's one of those neighborhood parks, so it's not gonna wow you. It'll have everything you kind of need, but not super giant and nothing that's gonna like take your breath away. So if you're visiting from out of town, you don't really need to go here, but it's nice for a neighborhood park. Cal Anderson Park. Okay, I'm gonna put these ones over here, which I know I've been to, but I'm just forgetting them. Matthews Beach Park, named after me. This is a really neat park. I think it has a pretty unique view, and it's like just along the Burt Gilman Trail, so I'd say it's worth checking out if you're regularly cycle along that path or you run along there. I think it's just a cool park, and it kind of has a unique layout to it, and it has restrooms too, so really can't go wrong with Matthews Beach Park. Boren Park, this one, it's really not much of a park, but it's carried with the view alone. The views here are super sick, and it's kind of right by the volunteer park and by the cemetery over there. So I think the cemetery is more interesting than volunteer park itself. And if you're over there, you should go to Boren Park too. Super cool views, and it's super unique, and you can see that kind of weird hurt piece there too. And there's an interesting path that also goes down and along, that lays kind of in front of the almost like cliff of the park. So really interesting park. I think it's very underrated, and not a lot of people know about it. I-5 Colonnade. Gosh, this one's kind of hard to rate. I always ran by here. There is a mountain bike park here and off-leash dog park here. So if those are two things that are up your alley, this is a cool place. The mountain biking is fairly difficult and technical, and it's not like the most well maintained. So it's kind of hard to recommend fully of trying it out. If you're like a really experienced mountain biker, I'd say go ahead and try it. But it's quite difficult for someone kind of at the amateur level like me. Very interesting park. I think it's worth checking, but it's kind of hard to recommend. I can't really speak on the dog park too much, but I mean, if you have a dog, there's always new and interesting places to take your little roughie into, so I'd say go for it. Let's see, Waterfront Park. I'm going to kind of dunk on this one a little bit. I think it's a D. It's a very touristy one, which isn't necessarily bad, and I mean, it's not really like a a destination sort of a park where it's like, oh, I gotta go here. You'll probably just end up like, oh, I want to see the Ferris wheel, and you won't even think that this is a park itself. So not the most interesting, just like a lot of shops and stuff around there. I mean, when they're gonna revamp it all, I think it'll be interesting. So we'll have to see for the updated tier list when that gets remodeled. But we'll see kind of exactly where we're going to take the direction of the waterfront park. But by itself, I wouldn't be like, oh, I got to go down there. Madrona Park. What's that a picture of? I'm forgetting what this one is too. I know I've been there. I'm forgetting. I'm going to throw the Washington Park Arboretum Botanic Gardens also in D. Kind of controversial, I know. It just was not the most interesting to me when I went there. And I think I've really only been there twice. I probably didn't even go to the botanical garden. So I guess you can kind of, I'm being a little bit judgy without even knowing. So I don't think I've really given this one a fair shot. But even just the outside part, I wasn't super loving it. I think it'd be a fine place to go around and exercise at. But past that, I don't think there's like, oh, I want to go here and like have a picnic for any other reason than it's close and convenient. So I'd say you can maybe skip on this one if you're visiting. I would recommend other ones. People really seem to like it, but personally, it's not my cup of tea. Seward Park. This is a tough one for me. Again, it has playgrounds, has restrooms too. It's on the water. It's a pretty cool park. It is, I think, a C level for me. I've really only been there like twice. I think it could maybe go up to an A, but I don't think I've spent enough time in it to like truly fall in love with it. It was really far away from where I lived, and busing over there is a complete pain. And so I really only did it just to kind of like checklist it. But I would say it's worthwhile if you live over there, and I think that it could be kind of like your mainstay park. You could like go there every weekend and still have fun, and it's fairly large, and there's a lot to see, and it's a good place to exercise too with that path. So I don't think I got to experience it enough, but when I was there, I wasn't completely wowed. So I'd say check it out, but that's going to be my controversial opinion for now. Let's see. East Montlake Park. This is kind of between a B and an A for me. I'll give it a B for now, mostly because you can't ride your bike through there, which would be really dope. But this is, I think, I'm rating this as like that pathway that's right below the UW Stadium, and it kind of goes through all of the marshy area. It's a fairly neat walk. It's a little short, but it's pretty cool. It's one of those like you maybe wouldn't really be able to like go there a ton and have like a new experience every time like you'd be able to do with Discovery Park, because it is fairly linear. So it's a good place to like go out and exercise. But again, yeah, you can't really bring your bike through there, and you can get, it is a marsh, so it will be marshy, but it's a pretty unique one. So I mean, I still think a B is a good rating here. I'm trying to be a little harsh. Carr Creek Park definitely gets an A for me. It's super unique. It has a train trestle. You get the beach. You also get like a foresty area. I'd say it gets negative points for those who, again, take the bus. I did not have a car the 2 years I lived here, so I either bused or biked everywhere. So if you have a car, it's super convenient, or a friend that has a car, I'd say go there, check it out. And then even if you don't, I think it is worth the one day kind of bus ride it takes to like link everything together, and then you have to do a good bit of walking too. But I've always had fun going to this park, and I mean, great for photos too. and really interesting to go with your friends if you want like a day to go to the beach, but it's not super crowded. So it's not like a swimming type beach, but still fun to go to. Lincoln Park, this is a pretty good park. I think I would also give it an A. There's a lot to see and walk along here. I've only been there once recently, so it's not super fresh in my memory, but definitely a very good park. There's a lot to walk around. Again, has restrooms. So overall, I'd give this one 2 thumbs up, but I have not gone there enough. But it's super giant, so that's definitely helps aids its score. Ballard Commons Park, I think this one will be my first F. This was the park that was right by my work when I worked at the camera store, and it's just across from the Ballard Library. And I mean, unless you're a skater, and there's a bowl there, and there's like restrooms, and that's basically everything it has going for it. It's kind of a refugee camp for homeless people. So they're not mean or anything. And I mean, I went there basically every day when it was nice out and not during COVID, and I'd eat my lunch out there, and everyone was just chilling, but not really a place that I would like take my child to. And it's super small, and the grass kind of sucks. So it doesn't really have anything else going on. There's like a ping pong table sometimes, to like some kind of community things. So like the people there are nice, and there's like someone who like will watch the ping pong stuff, and they have like a box to unlock things. So like people there are cool, and it's like in a good spot, but the park itself is totally not worth going to. So that'll fill up the F spot for now. Wallingford Playfield. So I did live in Wallingford for my time, or at least a year, when I lived at UW, or in the Seattle area. And the playfield was pretty cool. I think I'd give it a C for now. It's a good kind of neighborhood park again. So if you're like, oh, just there to play some sports, or you have kids for the playground, or you are a child watching this, ask your parents to take you to the playground there. It's cool. But again, not like a destination one. And I think that's going to be a recurring theme for a lot of these ones. So if you wanted to go and like throw around the old pigskin, it's a cool spot for that. But past that, you don't really super need it. But just more of a community space. Gasworks. Where do I put Gasworks? I think Gasworks might go into C also. I need to like scrunch all these over. Okay. Alright, they're all in like different order. Okay, I'll try and collapse this as much as I can. Gasworks it's a good park, don't get me wrong. And there's a good amount to see. It's just not, I think it got outplayed for me. So I would recommend checking out if you're visiting, but I don't think too many people end up going here other than like for a picnic, or it's like a nice day. I think there are better parks to go and see. If you have lived in Seattle for a while, I think probably most people would agree with me of like, oh, I want to go to Gasworks again? Yeah, that's cool. I think it gets played out a little bit. So only through its own accomplishments does it get subtracted points. So park itself is cool, not like a lot to do there, but it's interesting and it has a nice view. So a place that you'll probably end up going to fairly often, even if you don't really want to, especially just because it's so central and close to a lot of stuff, like on the above half of the river water. So that's how that ends up. Okay, Magnuson Park. Yeah, this one also gets an S from me. This is one of my favorite parks of all time. It's so large. I have taken a lot of photos here, made videos here, and it has a dog park here too. There's still a spot that I haven't been able to go into. It's like a government spy base thing, and you got to go through this gate and show your ID. I haven't been able to get over to that part yet, but I want to. But this park is just so massive, and you can ride your bike through it, and it's not too far out of the way, and it's on the water. So there's just so much that I like about this park, and you can go swimming there if you want. Good picnic areas. There's like barbecue stuff. So it's fun if you're going alone or with friends. Great place if you want to do like a picnic or eating outside. It has so much going on for it. And Magnuson Park is awesome. So that's highly recommended. And I don't think too many people go there who are not from Seattle know about this one. So if you are visiting, I think it's worth going to, even though it's a little bit out of the way if you were going from the city. It's a lot different than probably many other parks that you've been to. It's a good day for a walk at that park always. So check that one out. The Calvary Catholic Cemetery. This is a really cool cemetery. Mostly due to the view. I think I'd give it a B. I included some cemeteries because I always was looking for different parks to go to, and I would see these big grass plots on Google Maps, and I was like, oh, I haven't been to that one before. And then those would always be cemeteries, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to one of these cemeteries and see what it's like, because they keep conning me into thinking that they're parks. I mean, in a certain regard, they are parks. I'm not saying go there and dance on people's graves, but it can give you a lot different experience of going and visiting somewhere than you would otherwise. So, if you want to go there and reflect or just enjoy the view or just live life and read some real life history, then I think it's a really interesting place to go. So check out that cemetery for sure if that seems like it's up your alley. I think I already rated Lake Union here, didn't I? Yeah, okay, I can get rid of this one. Okay. I love Bailey Park. I think this park can get an A. The view from this park is super sick. It's not a super giant park, but it does have basketball hoops and like a play field and then a good area, like good grassy area. It is kind of far out of the way, but I think it's fairly like on the low. Not a lot of people know about it. At least in terms of like, you're not going to get a whole bunch of tourists coming up there like Cary Park to go take pictures. I think I have Cary Park in here. Yeah. Stop scrolling me. So this is a good park if you want to avoid all the really dense crowds, but still get a really unique skyline view of Seattle. So I'd say come and check this one out, and then it's a good place to just hang out and shoot some hoops, or it was kind of a fun one to ride your bike to, because you get to ride your bike all downhill and stuff too. So I love Bailey Park. That one's super neat. And then we'll follow up with Cary Park. I think for as much flack as you could give Cary Park, it's still a pretty cool destination. It's not super giant, so I think it can land in this C spot pretty fairly. Of course, the crowdedness will always be oh god, what did I do? The crowdedness will always be a drawback, but I think a certain amount of it is warranted, and then you also get to see all the cool Seattle neighborhood around there too. So while it does kind of suck and it's very outplayed and the view is yada yada, I still think it's an interesting one, and the sculpture there is cool. So not a bad one to go and check out. if you have time, or if it's like on a rainy or bad weather day, I'd say go there when there's going to be less people. So not like a bad park. I think its popularity is warranted, but like not the most exciting one too, especially if you've seen the Classic View before, and you know what I'm talking about. So I think C is a fair placement. Magnolia Park. I can't remember any of these parks with M names. Magnolia. Okay, I'm putting that to the side because I can't remember. Meridian Playground. I think Meridian Playground gets a B. Can I make space in the B area? Boom. Okay. Yeah, so Meridian Playground definitely gets a B here. I think it's kind of neat little nifty small park. I don't remember a lot about it, but I think it deserves its respect in the B spot. And again, it's just kind of like, it's like an upgraded Wallingford playfield where it's kind of small and it's just tucked around everything else, but I think there's still a play area. So kind of, it has the essentials, but it's cute, it's cool. So that one works for me. I keep getting scrolled here. All right, Ravenna Park. Where does Ravenna Park go? I almost want to give Ravenna like a C. It's cool, but it's just a walking path, really. All right, we're just gonna have to stack some of these. Yeah, we'll give Ravenna Park a C. I think that's fine to pair it right by Cohen Park there. It has a good atmosphere, and if you want to like get out of the city, you can like kind of just go into this cool foresty area. And then I think that's basically what it has going for it. The bridge that goes over across it is really interesting to look over. So I think this is like a good spot, like a good walking area, and it is different than a lot of other parks in that regard. So it gets props for that, but it's kind of a one-trick pony. So for that reason, I don't think it is as cool as it could be. I think if Cohen Park and Ravenna Park were just one park, I think I'd be able to give it a B to combine their powers. And I do think of them as one park, really, because they're essentially connected. But Ravenna Park, I think, is held back by like how interesting it is. I think some people probably really love this park, and it is nice that it's pretty close to the UW campus. So if you wanted to go on a walk somewhere close, you can walk all the way there, depending on where you live on campus. I do think it is worth checking out. I mean, I think really everything above D is worth checking out. It's maybe just like a one-timer or like a place you go to exercise more than anything else, though, for me. So C for Ravenna. Centennial Park. I think this one is a B for me. All right. B. Centennial Park is really, I think of it as the same as the Olympic Sculpture Park because you're going to walk along there anyways. It's all kind of the same thing, as long as I'm remembering correctly, but it's a good park. I think it's a step below Olympic Sculpture Park just because it's not like the main kind of spiel. It's the same thing with Cohen Park and Ravenna Park, where like if it's all just one thing, it like stay an A, but this is just like the kind of less interesting part of Olympic Sculpture Park, so it will stay in the area. Cal Anderson Park reflecting tool. Oh, I have two Cal Anderson parks. Okay, let's get rid of the reflecting pool one. Freeway Park. Freeway Park's pretty cool. I think I have to make room in the A tier for it. let's scrunch these over. Alright, Freeway Park I think gets an easy A. Stop scrolling, please. It's really interesting park, and the architecture there is kind of an artwork as well. The waterfalls are cool. So if you're just there for pictures or walking around, it's really enjoyable. Not really a place to bring kids, but it's a very unique park, and I give it props for that. It's not super giant, but there are places to sit down or hang out. Not really like an easy place to have a conversation sometimes with how wet it can be, but if you're just passing through, I think it's a really great place just to like, oh, it kind of takes you out of the city environment and it gives you something different to look at. So I give it props for being different while also retaining interest, and being a creative use of space other than just like, oh, let's throw out some grass here and some trees and then that's it. But they put a lot of effort into this one, so good job. All right, here's some other ones that were falling off the end here. Alki Beach. Where do I put Alki? Alki is either like a C or a D for me. Let's see. Honestly, looking at all the ones in C, I'd rather go to pretty much all of these. Actually, and now that I look at it, I really wouldn't want to go to Lake Union Park. Lake Union's going down into D here. I think C is kind of looking at like my overrated parks area. Overrated or one-trick ponies here. So I think, oh, and I have 2 Golden Gardens too. Yeah. Alki, I think, is fine being D. If you just want to go to the beach, I think it's cool. If you don't live in West Seattle, it's a complete pain to go to. And I don't really enjoy trying to get over there, whether I'm in a car or not. So there's some points deducted there. I don't think it's really that interesting otherwise. I don't know. It's just like a waterfront, dude. If that's your thing, then that's your thing. I've seen like enough waterfronts in my life for this to be like, well, there's something else like making it go choo choo. Like that's why Gasworks is basically just like a waterfront, but there's like the Gasworks things and the old stuff there on the hill, which make it infinitely more engaging than Alki. So if you just wanted to go to the beach and hang out and watch some people set off fireworks illegally, then that is totally fine. But I don't think it deserves like heaps of praise. And then let's see, Golden Gardens. I've been to Golden Gardens a few times, mostly on like kind of rainy and gray days. So I've not been there in like the beach bonfire sort of season. So that'll skew my experience of it. I think Golden Gardens is so cool. I really like all those like weird wavy trees over there. And I remember going there really late at night once, just myself, to take photos. It's kind of spooky, but it was still cool. Kind of some interesting views there. I think I can give it a B. The B zone is really crowded. Madison Park is an interesting case here. Madison Park is neat, but it's very marooned over to the side. So again, if you're busing there, it's a terrible place to try and bus to and from. I don't really know what the parking situation is like, but it is an interesting park and it is kind of on the waterfront. So if you like water parks, then I'd say check this one out. I'm gonna put it in C for now here, because I think it's one of those parks where like only if you live over by that area is it worth going to. But other than that, it's hard to argue for. Let me pull up Magnolia here. Magnolia Park. This one is a hard sell. The view here is really neat, and it's not a park that is ever full, really. I say that like I go there a lot. I've been there once, just when I was kind of passing through that area. So I think it is worth checking out. And again, if you live in the area, I think it's worth going to. And even if you're visiting, I think it's a cool park to see at least once. I don't think I would super prioritize it over a lot, but man, it's hard to say because the view is cool, but I think it's gonna have to. It's like a sea level one. We're just gonna put that over Cary Park for now, and then we can make this look pretty at the end. Cal Anderson. Cal Anderson, another interesting one, where it's probably going to be a place where you go after like getting food to take out, and then you're just going to sit at this park and eat that. So it's kind of one of those like, oh, it's located interestingly, and I think it's kind of like a hippie-ish type thing to go over there, which isn't a bad thing, but I can't say that I'm like, oh, I love Cal Anderson Park. I think some people really do, but I can't speak a ton on it. I think there's a water fountain over there and some like other play stuff, so I think I can give it like a B, but kind of past that, it's hard to say. There's nothing like distinctly bad with it. And it's kind of like, it's right by the light rail too, so it is pretty convenient to get to. Just not like a personal favorite of mine. So I think I can give it B on like in terms of like credit that it has. It's a good community park. B, and then I don't know why I'm forgetting what Madrona is. This is an interesting park to walk through, but it's more or less just there because it's kind of convenient to be there, I guess. I think I'd give it a B too. It's a neat park, and it's like a kind of like a good summary park for people. So nothing like really wrong with it. It's not like the most memorable, as you just saw. I totally forgot what it was. It's a pretty small park, but I think it serves its purpose, so it gets a respectable B from me. I'll stick it right there for now. All right, let's make this look pretty, and then we can see the final one. Man, I've debated about this top one longly. It's hard to say which one is my favorite between the two. I think I've said Magnuson at one point. I think I've said Discovery at one point, but I don't think I can pick. They're like children. I think maybe cumulatively I've enjoyed Discovery Park more, but I don't want to discredit my Magnuson Park adventures. So maybe I think I'll let it just sit as is. Discovery Park will be the better of the two. So if you had to pick one favorite, I think that's the overall winner. But Magnuson Park would be a very close second. And then we have Green Lake, which is awesome overall. Sculpture Park, Carkeek, Lincoln Park, Freeway Park, and Ella Bailey Park. That seems pretty fair for A. Commodore Park. And I didn't really like order any of these individual rows in terms of like prominence. So these are all, I mean, at least all the bottoms are all pretty much willy-nilly. But Commodore Park, I think that's fine. And Volunteer, Meridian Playground is cool. Matthews Beach, yep. Boren, Centennial, Cal Anderson, Golden Gardens, Madrona, East Mountain Lake, and then the cemetery at the end. And then Cary Park, Gasworks, Cohen Park, Ravenna, Seward, Wallingford Playfield, Madison Park, Magnolia Park, I-5, Colonnade, and then the D tier. So honestly, I think you go to any of these parks except for Ballard's Common Park and have fun. And maybe not Peace Park really, but I'd say all the parks that are C or above, I'd recommend going to. But yeah, Peace Park, Waterfront Park, you'll probably end up going there anyways if you're doing touristy stuff. The Arboretum, there's so much better stuff to see than it. Don't let people tell you that it's the best thing ever. It's not. Alki Beach, same sort of thing. Tell them you'd rather. I want to go to Discovery Park, dude. I want to go to Magnuson Park. Have people take you to the good parks if you're visiting. I do not think Alki Beach is going to be like, oh my god, this place is insane, dude. Like, I think there's way more interesting places, as you just saw, than going to Alki. And then Lake Union Park, kind of a snooze fest. The stuff around there is more interesting than the park itself. And then the Ballard's Common Park, you probably wouldn't have even thought about going there. It's probably the only place right on Google Maps that's even below 4 stars, so that's saying a lot. So this is my overall list. I will leave a link in the description if you want to make your own. This was very fun to do, and I wanted to make a cumulative list of all these parks at some point, because I did enjoy trying to go around and see how many I could find. If you have an S tier park that you think should be on here, please leave a comment, because I will always be happy to go back over to Seattle and find a new park. But I feel like I exhausted all the main ones. I know about Jack Block Park. I am planning to do a bike ride over there at some point. I think that is another one of the more secret underground ones. And I wanted to wait until I did that one, but I didn't have a video idea for today other than this. So eventually I'll do Jack Block. I'm assuming it's probably going to be around the B level, where it's like, okay, that's cool, it has a unique view, but like not amazing, but it's good enough to check out every once in a while. So that's my predicted guess for that one, but we'll see where that fits in later. And if there are ever 50 more parks that are all awesome that are added to Seattle over the years, I will finesse this list. But that is my 2020 fall 2020 season for the Seattle parks. I hope you enjoyed, and go outside and go visit some parks and be safe. All right, peace out, y'all.